Hello, this is Rafael from MacLeod Power. I'm going to be showing you today how to make some adjustments to your Google site in order to create these beautiful banners or these background images and wrapper images that will give that look to your site. I know that Google Sites has a lot of limitations, but there's definitely things that we can do to make our site look a lot better. And an example we're going to be doing today is in SEOwebpower.com, you will see that there is this nice blue banner on the top, which is a background image. And then you have this giant footer, which is this dark background image as well, in order to give us that full width experience on our Google site. Okay, so here is your typical Google site. Sidebar on the left-hand side, it has no horizontal navigation bar, and the header is not really anywhere to be seen. I am using the blank slate template. Now, in order to change these first settings, we have to go to the More Actions, Edit Site Layout. Now, here, by default, the theme has chosen 100%. I usually use a 960.gs or grid system that I feel works best with all types of devices, whether it's mobile or whether it's desktop or PC or a tablet. I think this one is just the one that works for me. It might be different for you. But in my case, I go ahead and I make my site width a custom of 990 pixels. The reason is I use a 960 grid system, but Google Sites likes to remove 15 pixels on each side of margin. So as you know, 960 plus 15 plus 15 is 990. Now, in order to save, it says press enter key to save. So once I do that, my actual site width takes that look. So now to save it, we go ahead and we click close, and the shortcut is escape. But now we have this title and we have the sidebar, and I need to get rid of those in order to start laying out that horizontal navigation bar like the one I have here. So we're going to go to the More Actions. We're going to go to Edit Site Layout, and we're going to keep the header. We're going to enable the horizontal navigation bar. I'm going to remove the sidebar, and I'm going to add a custom footer. Now, as you can see, things are starting to kind of show up. We have this button here that showed up. We have this click to edit custom footer, and as I move my mouse around, different areas are being highlighted. That means they have more options. So if I click on this blue section, this box will pop up. In this case, I don't want a box style, I want a link style. And there it is. If I have more pages, of course, I will add them to my horizontal navigation bar by adding a page here. In this case, we're not going to focus too much on that. I'll save that for another video. I'm going to go ahead and close this now because I have the basics of what I need. But now I need to remove this, and I want to remove that. To remove this home title, the title of this page, which is home, what I want to do is I want to go to edit the page settings, because each individual page has its own page settings, and I'm going to uncheck the show page title. And this, since I only have one page, I don't really need it. Once I hit that, it's the OK button, it saves, and that is gone. Now I need to get rid of the title of the page, of the actual web page, and the site itself. So I want to do that, but in order to go there, we have to first go to the More Actions or Page Actions, go Manage the Site, and then I want to remove the Show Site Name at the top of Pages. That will remove this text. If you need to rename your site, you can always rename it here or so. Whatever you type here will be reflected up here. So we're going to hit Save. And now I'm going to go back to view my page, and look, we're almost there. Now I want to add a that horizontal color on the top and one on the bottom for my footer. Just to show you and to avoid some confusion, I'm going to give this some spaces. And the reason I'm doing that is because when you add both of those background image and a wrapper image, they blend together if they don't have a space. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is add those background images. Now you can go through any software that you're using to create those. I use Photoshop, but in order to implement those into the site, we're going to go to Manage the Site, And we're going to go to themes, colors, and fonts. Now, if you don't see this, it's because you don't have enough permissions to view it. Make sure you do. Now, when we go to this actual tab, or themes, colors, and fonts, we are presented with several options. My focus is to go with the entire page, as this will reflect on every single page. Typically, they all do, but for this case, we're going to just stick to this part. And the background is what I'm focusing on. Of course, I've created my background image as this here. This is my background image, and this down here is my wrapper. Now, what I want to do now is I'm going to go ahead and let's say I've already created my image, and I usually make my image the height that I need it to be. In this case, this is 100 pixels tall, or the height's 100 pixels, and the width is 10. I don't need such a wide background because it's going to be repeated. So once I get my background image, in this case, that's what it looks like, I can go into the image and then the picture and choose that background. It's being uploaded, and see how it all went blue? That's because it's repeated both horizontally and vertical. So we want to make sure that we only repeat that horizontal, and it's to the left. Horizontal position is to the left, and vertical position is top. I'm going to go ahead and save that, and now we're going to move on to the footer part. I'm going to also click the image, and I've created my wrapper about 300 pixels tall and 10 pixels in width. So the height is 300, width is 10. Now I'm going to go ahead and open it, and now it's also uploading it. I've already named my files wrapper and background, just so I know where to place it. Same thing happens, so we want to make sure we go to the options. Repeat is also horizontal. Horizontal position is to the left, and the vertical position is bottom. Now we have those two parts that are separate there. Now, these look like two different colors, but it's just an eye trick. It's exactly the same color. Now, the next thing to do is we need a background logo here that we're going to place. So I'm going to go back to the main page. As you can see, it's unaligned, and that's typical for Google Sites. Things will unalign when you're in edit mode, but once you go ahead and view the page, in this case, more actions, preview the page as a viewer, and things will realign again. So it's okay if it unaligns in edit mode, because it will realign back in the viewer mode. And that's usually what we're wanting to do. Now, to add that background image here, if I place the logo here, it's going to push this down, and I want to push this down, but not in that way. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to place the logo as a header background image. Now, we said that this is going to be 960 pixels wide. So I'm going to add the image in as 960 pixels, just so that I can kind of have control of what Google Sites tells me I can have options with. And I'll explain what that looks like. So in my folder, I have my bar here, and I've placed my logo all the way to the left, and this is 960 pixels wide, because as I mentioned before, although my width is 990, Google Sites removes 30 pixels, so that's 15 on each side, and this will actually align with my boxes I've created. So now let's go back into the site settings. So we're going to manage the site, control the shortcuts is G, then M, and then back to the themes, colors, and fonts. We're going to go to the site header, background, image, select the image, and nav final PNG is what it's called. There it is. It just popped up, but look, right there, it repeats. So we want to make sure we go to the options, no repeat, and we want to push it to the left. And actually, this position here, if we leave it to the left, you're going to see that it does not line up. So when I go edit the page, see how that's bleeding over, and that's kind of missing there. But if I do go into the settings again, and I go to the site header, background, image, options, and center it, then this will shift. Now, it might not look like much here, but once we go back to the main page again, and we edit, you will see that this lines up. And that's the reason why we want to make sure it's 960 and that it's centered. Now, when we go preview the page, you will see that appear like if it was a logo. Of course, my header is too small right now, so it's cutting off the rest of my logo. So by going to the more actions and then going to the edit site layout, I can hover in the section that says edit site header, and I can add about, I'm going to say 100 pixels. So okay, and this is going to stretch, close, and when I close it, it saves it. So now I can go back into the preview pages viewer, refresh it, and look at that. It pushed my bar below and my logo there. Now definitely there's more options of what you can do with the navigation bar, but I will definitely explain that in another video. But look at that, we have our background image and our wrapper image, and now they're creating these beautiful bars with the same color, both the top and the bottom. So this is a great place for people who are just getting started and definitely taking advantage of that. Of course, on the SEO Web Power, I use multiple colors to make this effect, but it definitely gives that look to Google Sites, and is something that can be done to just make it look a little nicer.